Assalamu alaikum, dear students. In this video, we will continue with chapter 2 humans and subtopic muscles and movement. So, previously, we studied the human skeleton and the main parts of the human skeleton, such as skull, backbone, vertebrae, spinal cord, your rib cage, and functions of all these bones. Then we studied and then we studied different types of joints like hinge joint, your knee joint, ball and socket joint. We studied about tendons and ligaments, sprain and strain. So in continuation with the last video, in this video we are going to study about muscles and movement. What are muscles and how do they move? We are going to study in detail about muscles. You can see this picture below, picture given. These are puppets. Okay, these are puppets. So as you can see, there are string tied to the hands and back of these puppets. Can you guess why the strings are tied to the hands and back of the puppets? Yes, the strings are tied so that the puppets can move. So that the puppets can move, so that they can move, they can do some movement. In puppet shows, if you all must have seen, usually the puppets, they dance, they talk, they walk, but they are lifeless, they are not organisms. So how are they able to move? So they are able to move because strings are tied to their hands and back, and people above, they move the strings, which helps the puppets to move their hands and which help the puppets to move their back and do the desired movement. So in the same way, as puppets move when strings pull on their arms and legs, when the puppets move when strings move, pull their arms and legs, our body moves. In the same way, our body moves when muscles pull our bone. When muscles pull our bone. Okay, as puppets move when the strings are being pulled, in the same way our body move when our body muscles, it pulls our body bones. Okay, so muscles can pull bones because they get shorter when they contract. Okay, when they contract they get shorter. Muscles can pull bone because they get shorter when they contract. Muscles can only pull, they cannot push. Muscles can only pull, they cannot push. This is a very important point. Muscles can only pull the bone, they cannot push the bone. We can move our hand only in upward direction. We can fold our hands in only in upward direction. Can we fold it? Can we fold it behind? Can we fold it in the backward direction? No, we cannot fold our hand in the backward direction. So muscles can only pull, it cannot push. Here the explanation is given. So we were on muscles can only pull, they cannot push. So each muscle can only move a bone in one direction. One muscle can move one bone only in one direction. Muscles work in pair, with one muscle pulling a bone in one way, the other muscle pulling it back in the other way. So one muscle can pull only one bone, and that too only in one direction. Okay, the biceps and triceps, the muscles which are there in your hand, the biceps and triceps muscles in your arm work as a pair. When your biceps muscle contract, bicep muscle are there in the front. When your biceps muscle contract, your arm bends. At the same time, the tricep muscles relaxes and stretches when you are folding your hand upwards. When you are folding your hand upwards, your bicep muscles will contract and become shorter. At the same time, your triceps, your tricep muscle, what will happen to the tricep muscle? It will relax and it will stretch to straighten your arm. And when you again straighten the arm, when you again straighten your arm, your tricep muscles will contract and your bicep muscles will relax and stretch. So it works as a pair. When you pull your hand upward, when you fold your hand upwards, your biceps will contract and become shorter, whereas your tricep muscles will stretch. And when you straighten your hand again, your bicep muscles will stretch and your triceps muscle will contract. So the biceps and triceps muscles are called as antagonistic muscles because they pull in opposite directions. They are called as antagonistic muscles because they pull in opposite directions. So what are antagonistic muscles that pull the bones in the opposite direction are called as antagonistic muscles. Most of the movements in the body are produced by antagonistic muscles only. As you all can see in this diagram, when the arm is being folded, my biceps is contracting and your tricep is stretching, relaxing. And when you are straightening your hand again, your biceps is stretching, whereas your triceps is contracting and becoming short. So these are antagonistic muscles. Now, next point. Muscles are attached to bones by strong cord called tendons. As you all can see in this diagram, this is a tendon. Okay, the reddish color part is your tendon and the brownish color is your bone. So muscles are attached to bones by strong cords called tendons. Tendons have to be very strong because muscles can exert enormous forces. Your Achilles, this tendon that you all can see, this is the Achilles tendon. This is the longest tendon in your body. The Achilles tendon are the largest tendons in your body. They connect your calf muscle to your heel bone. They are the longest muscle in your body. They connect your calf muscles to your heel bone. As you all can see in this diagram, your calf muscle trainers are designed to fit around your Achilles tendons. The calf muscles that you all can see, it's the Achilles tendons. So these are the longest tendons in our body. These are the Achilles tendons are the longest tendons in our body, which connects our heel bone to the calf muscles. Now, next point, control of muscle movement. How are muscles controlled? So we all know that our body actions, everything that we do, we smell, all our sense organs are controlled by brain. They all the organs are controlled by our brain. So the brain sends the message and the action is being done by the desired part of the body. In the same way, muscles are also controlled by our brain. Messages from the brain control when your muscle contract. These messages travel round your spinal cord. As we all know that spinal cord is used to send messages. So these messages travel down your spinal cord and along smaller nerves to every muscle fiber. Okay, messages are sent through spinal cord, and from spinal cord it is being passed to smaller nerves to every muscle fiber. If the back, as you can see in the diagram, messages are being carried in the spinal cord and muscle fibers contract and pull on bones. So what will happen if the backbone is damaged, if the spinal cord is damaged? Will the message be passed? Yes, no, the message will not be passed because the pathway is damaged. Now, if suppose you have to pass through a way, but that way is being closed, can you pass through that way? No, you cannot pass through that way. In the same way, spinal cord is a pathway. It is a passage for the messages to travel from brain and from the body parts to the brain, and vice versa. So if the pathway is damaged, the messages will not be passed. So what will happen in this case? What will happen to the body? Yes, in such cases the body gets paralyzed because the messages are not being passed, and the movement is not being done by the body cannot move because the brain is not sending messages. Why the brain is not sending messages? Brain is not sending messages because the pathway, the travel passage is damaged. That is the spinal cord or the backbone. So if the backbone is damaged, this can stop these messages getting to muscles. Someone with damaged spine may be paralyzed. So this is the reason people gets paralyzed when the spinal cord is being affected or is being damaged. Most of the time, in most of the cases, people get paralyzed uh, during operations, also during major operations. The anesthesia is being injected into the spinal cord. Why? Because spinal cord is the passage to send messages to all the parts of the body. So when anesthesia is injected in the spinal cord, that particular part of the body gets paralyzed means it cannot feel anything. That particular part of the body cannot feel anything, and the operation can be conducted without any pain. Normally muscles take turns to contract, but an electric shock can make every muscle pull at once, suddenly and violently. And this is the reason when we get a sudden electric shock, our body this can jerk your bones and throw you across a room. And this is the reason when we get a high voltage sudden electric shock, our body isn't pushed away. Our body is been pushed away because of the muscles. All the muscles work together. Usually muscles take turn to work one by one, but when we get an electric shock, all the muscles work together and our body is being thrown away. We are being thrown away across the room. Okay, so later when you all are watching the video, you all can refer textbook page number 17 for this explanation. We'll move on to the next point, that is strength. So this is a robotics exoskeleton. What is an exoskeleton? Exoskeleton is a skeleton which is outside the body, like a skeleton of a snail, a turtle, a tortoise. Okay, so exoskeleton is the support system which is present outside the body. Now we already have a skeleton in our body, so why do we need exoskeleton? This is an robotic exoskeleton that you all can see in the picture. So why do we need this? So we need this because muscles can only lift heavy loads for a short time. Our body muscles can only lift heavy loads for a short time, and after that we get tired, so we need to rest our muscles. Yes or no? When we do heavy work, when we do heavy workout, our muscles get tired and then we have to rest. So to increase the time period of work, we need exoskeleton. People use exoskeleton for extra support of the muscles, to support the muscles. Okay, they a robotic exoskeleton could give you extra strength. It gives you extra strength. The messages your brain sends to muscles control the exoskeleton's motor as well. So isn't it amazing? The messages that the brain is sending to controls the exoskeleton motors as well. So it copies every move that you make, but with 20 times more strength. It copies every move that you make, but with 20 times more strength. Imagine 20 times more strength. So can we get tired easily? No, we will not get tired, because we have 20 times more strength because of this robotic exoskeleton. Now, exoskeletons can even help people with damaged spines to walk again. So people who are paralyzed and cannot walk, exoskeleton can also help the people to walk again. With the help of exoskeleton, this type of people can walk again. Okay, so this was all about muscles and movement. So in this video we learned why muscles are arranged in pairs, and what are antagonistic muscles, which is the largest muscles in the body, which is the largest tendon in the body. The Achilles tendon is the largest tendon. How muscles are being controlled. We studied that how muscles are being controlled, and also the strength of the muscle, how the strength of the muscle can be increased. So that's all for today. Thank you.